In this video, we're going to be looking at the imperfect tense in Latin. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Bambas Bat. Before we start, I want to give you this free guide to all verb endings in Latin. It's got everything you need to help you identify all verbs in Latin from the basics right the way through to the most advanced grammar. You probably won't need it all yet, but one day it will come in really handy. So go and download it now from the link in the description below. So let's get down to it. The imperfect tense in Latin. Now I'm only going to do active verbs in this video, so if you want passives, that's a separate video which will be on my channel soon. Now this is actually my favourite tense in Latin, and yes, I am a big enough nerd that I have a favourite Latin tense. The reason I like it so much is because it's super simple and really easy to recognise, but also very, very useful. Let's dive in. To start with, the imperfect tense is what's called a continuous action in the past. This means that we use it to show something happening alongside another action in the past tense. For example, I was walking when I fell over. The imperfect tense, I was walking, shows me that this action was happening in the past, and it was ongoing, whereas the perfect tense, I fell over, is a completed action. It only happened once. Now, when you see the imperfect tense in Latin, the important thing to remember is was or were. This is how you should aim to translate it. So I was walking or you were walking. It's really important that you keep that in mind. It's very easy to recognize the imperfect tense. It's formed using the present tense stem. So you need to find the present infinitive of the verb. This is the second principal part in dictionaries. In this example, porto, portare, portavi, portatus, and I'm looking at portare, which is the infinitive. To make the imperfect tense, I take off the re to get porta. Then I add my imperfect signifier, which is ba, B-A. This is a bit that tells me and it's an imperfect verb. Then I just add the person endings, mst, mustis, nt, and that tells me who's doing the verb. So if I want to say he was carrying, I take the porta, add ba, and then add my third person singular ending, t, portabat. He was carrying. Now I just mentioned the imperfect signifier. That's the key way to recognize the imperfect tense, and it's BA. Now I like to call this the sheep tense. This is Impy the sheep, bless him. He's imperfect. He doesn't say bar, he only says ba. Anyway, this can help you remember how to recognize and translate the imperfect tense. Impy the sheep was eating grass. Just something that helped me while I was learning, and it's helped quite a few other people that I've taught before. If it doesn't help you, just ignore that. I just really like it. These are the endings for the imperfect tense. See how they all have the BA just before the person ending. This is really important because some verbs have BA in their stem, but not before the person ending, so be careful. If BA is just before the person ending, so MST, mustis, nt, that means that it is an imperfect verb. Important note, the imperfect tense can also mean used to. So for example, portabam can mean I was carrying or I used to carry. Just pick whichever makes most sense in your translation. Alright, so now you know how to recognize it. Which of these are imperfect verbs? Pause the video here to see if you can find them all, and I will show the answers in just a second. Okay, I hope you've paused it if you wanted to and found all the imperfect tenses, because I'm just about to show the ones in purple that are imperfect. Here they all are. Can you see the BA in all of them? Hopefully you can, hopefully you found them, and it was really easy to spot them. So I've got ambulabant, they were walking, conveniebam, I was gathering, lacrimabas, you were weeping, vocebamus, we were shouting, and habebatis, you plural, were holding. Let's try some examples in Latin. Here are 6 sentences. Remember that in Latin, the verb is often at the end of the sentence or clause. As usual, I have the vocab running down the side, and I also have the table of imperfect verb endings to help you at the bottom. If you want to go translating these on your own, pause the video here, otherwise I'm going to go through the meanings of these now. So number 1, anculae ad forum festinabant. The verb is at the end of the sentence, festinabant. The BA is telling me it's an imperfect verb, and the person ending, nt, means it's a third person plural, so they were doing something. From the vocab list, I can see festino, festinare means to hurry. So if I put all that together, I get they were hurrying. Now I can look for a nominative that matches my plural verb. Ankylai means slave girls, plural, so they're in charge, and they were hurrying ad forum. So altogether, the slave girls were hurrying to the forum. Number 2, numquam times dicebas. The verb is again at the end, but I have speech marks in this sentence. Keep that in mind. So start with the main verb, dicebas. BA again tells me it's an imperfect verb, and the S ending tells me it's a you singular, so just one person. So, you were saying, or you used to say. Now I can expect to find another verb in the speech marks, and here it's time, which is an imperative, an order, meaning fear. An odd order to give someone, except we have missed the word numquam, never. Altogether, and I'm going to pick my secondary translation of the imperfect tense here because it makes most sense. You used to say, never fear. Remember, I can switch the verb to the beginning in my English translation because word order doesn't matter in Latin. Whatever you feel sounds best. For sentence 3, mercator servus salutabat. My verb here is a third person singular, he, she, it, from the T ending. BA again tells me it's imperfect, and saluto means greets. So putting that together, I get he or she was greeting. Now let's look for a matching nominative to try and help me figure out whether it's he, she, or it. Servus is accusative plural, so they can't be in charge of the verb. So it must be mercator, which is a third declension nominative singular, and that matches my T ending. The merchant was greeting the slaves. Sentence 4. Kibum dies dabamos. My verb is a first person plural here. We were, which is from the bamos ending. I don't need to look for a nominative in this sentence because we were doing the verb. I know who the nominative is. It's us. Now the verb means we were giving. So now I look for what we were giving. Kibus is my accusative. Food. Now what have I got left? I've got deis. This is a second declension dative or ablative plural. Now do dare is a verb that often takes the dative because you give things to people, so I can safely assume that it's a dative here. Always try both cases and see what makes most sense, but in this case I'm going to go for a dative. So altogether, I've got we were giving food to the gods. For number 5, cum amico ambulabam. Number 5's verb ends with bam. This is my first person singular ending, so it means I was walking. Cum means with, and this matches the ablative case of amico, so the sentence means I was walking with the friend. Finally, in number 6, the verb is again at the end. Bartis is the second person plural imperfect ending. This is you plural were waiting for or used to wait for. Either works in this case. In Willa is straightforward, in the house, and me is the accusative of the pronoun ego. So the verb's happening to me. So altogether, you were waiting for me in the house. Or you used to wait for me in the house. Both are fine. And that's the imperfect tense in Latin. Don't forget to download the complete guide to Latin verbs from the link in the description below. It will really help you as you practice recognizing your different tenses. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Bambas Bat.